I look different. It's like you can see the dehydration. I don't know. Whatever. What am I talking about? A couple things, just real quick. First, I feel like I haven't been sitting in this spot in quite a few days. Because I was away for the weekend. We did a bit of hiking. Yes, Christina and I did a couple mountains on Saturday and then some on Sunday. And I'm definitely making light of it when I say a couple, because it was really fucking hard. Not like the whole time, but just, over time, the amount of rubbing of the feet on the shoes and just the number of footsteps. At first you're not really that aware of them, but then towards the end it's like every single step is calculated and felt. Especially fucking from upperworks. Oh my god, there's just so many fucking rocks and you're just hop, 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 hop. And if you don't hop, then there's mud, but also it's fucking dark and you've just completed 43.5 miles in 2 days. It was a wonderful experience. It was a big fat worry, like a pain point for me, the ones we did first on Saturday. So it's the Seward Range, 1, 2, 3 mountains, and then also Seymour. The thing is, it's like you walk on a path for like a long time. I can't remember how much right now. And then you would break off to do Seward, and it's 2 friends over there, like that's the normal route. And then you have to come back to the like break off point, the junction, and then you would go do Seymour by itself. A lot of people, it's called Orphan Seymour, and then go back and do it another time. But I'm like, we're just right there. And the thing is about that one that gives me anxiety is the furthest one away from home. So it's like, it's in Saranac, so 3 hours away from home. And I know, like, people who come from fucking Buffalo and they drive 4 or 5 hours every weekend. I don't want to. I have a finite amount of time and a lot of people and things to take care of. Or maybe I'm just making myself feel important. I don't fucking know. I don't want to drive that far. Hold on. Butt bite break. Fucking hell. Oh god, it feels good, but also bad. Okay. So what's my point? Well, like, that's the whole story. Okay, so did that Saturday. We then Sunday, 2 more mountains. Redfield and Cliff. Other ones I was not like looking forward to. And same sort of thing. You walk for, it's like 7-8 miles on the same path. Then there's the junction and you go like over a mile up, down for Redfield, and then just under a mile out back for Cliff. The thing about Cliff is, so of the 40, oh god, a requirement to be part of the Adirondack 46 mountains is the ones that are in this particular category. They are the mountains that are 4,000 feet or above. But, surveying has come a long way in the amount of time that we've been surveying things. And come to find out, 4 of the mountains that are in the 46 are not even 4,000 feet. So that's Cuxacraga, which if you look at it, it looks like couch stature. People call it couch or coochie. But it's Cuxacraga, which means dismal wilderness. So every time we get off exit 23 in Minerva, it has that feel, the feel of the dismal wilderness. The trees are different. There's like more of those old, super been dead for so long, sun-bleached dead trees that sticks out. More blow down. God, I'm so itchy. Okay. What am I talking about? Cuxacraga is one of them. Nye is another. Blake, which everyone hates because you summit a mountain and you go so far down and then back up to get to Blake, which is a viewless peak and doesn't even have a fucking sign on it. It's a rock. You get there and you're like, I did all of that to get to this rock. But that's when you're in peak mode, view mode, or you have expectation of what it is that's going to happen on the mountain. Then you're like, this is so stupid. I mean, Was Blake that hard? I don't recall. What was hard about that day was the fucking weather and the fact that we had run a half marathon. Both her, Christina and I, ran a half marathon the day before, and I was not in awesome running shape at the time because I was like, I'm still scarred from the 4x4, but just like mentally, I'm starting to get it back though. It's just me. What I was saying? Oh, Colvin and Blake. It was hard because it was like April and the weather was warming up down here, but it was warming up there, but still snowing, so everything was just like slushy and just sloshing around and fucking so frustrating. And then it started raining, and so you're just soaking wet by the end of the day. So those are the first three. The other 46er mountain that it's not even 4,000 feet is Cliff. And I have heard the battles of about why, just like what sucks the most. You know, hikers really like to complain, at least through the Facebook groups, but maybe it's just because they're in a Facebook group. And like, if you're in a Facebook group, that's just what you're going to do is complain. Because, you know, again, Facebook is different than like Instagram or other platforms. We have talked about TikTok and how much I love it. Maybe there are, you know, lots of people complain on that, but they're just filtered out for me. Facebook, can you like get a hold on that? Fix your algorithm to show me things like TikTok. If my friends are saying negative shit, or people who I'm just friends with because we went to high school a million years ago, and you want to sell me some dumbass shit, like, could you filter that out for me? I don't, that's why I don't use you. Why am I talking about that? Okay, Cliff. So, started out the day on Sunday on like 3 hours of sleep, I think, after hiking. It was like 21-ish miles the day before. It was our longest hiking day ever. So what do you top that off with is another, 18 or whatever the math is. Because, all trails plus Apple Watch plus Whoop, they all say something different. Anyway. So I was pretty cranky going up Redfield, but we got there. That was cool. Great view. Met a guy. What was his name? It was Rob. And I said I would call him Robert. And he wasn't really getting bit by mosquitoes. And I said, well, maybe it's because you have red hair. Because I was trying to lightly make a joke about nobody likes redheads. You know what I mean? That's a mean thing to say. It's a mean thing to say. And I don't judge people based on their appearances, except I don't know why I think that's okay. But, it's like a known thing, and I think a lot of redheads makes fun of themselves for it, like taking it back. Or maybe I'm just saying that to make myself feel less like an asshole. Anyway, he has red hair. Nice guy, fast. That's the thing, I feel like everybody's so fast. Like, they're running. Like, how do you do that? And so those are the people that I look at, and those are the people that I assume are hiking. They're only doing it if they're fast or young or everyone's better than me somehow, which is not, I am not used to that, though I'm no top athlete. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good at everything I do. Pretty good. Nothing spectacular. Just not everyone's beating me. I can hold my own for the experience that I have. The injuries I have, just the one, and that's not even, let's call it an impingement. What am I talking about? I don't know. I'm avoiding telling you the story of Cliff because I'm going to have to go back there in my mind. And I said it so many times on the way down, never again, never a fucking again, never again will I step foot on this mountain, never. Called Cliff. Why is it called that? I don't know. Sometimes we research these things beforehand. Sometimes we research them afterwards. Sometimes we forget to do it. We're always like, why is this called this? Oh, it's named after this guy. Like Marcy? It ain't no chick. It's the last name of some guy, but then Theodore Roosevelt was doing a thing and he was traveling through there. Anyway, Marcy's definitely a female mountain though. Well, Christina and I decide that, are the mountains male or female? Each specific one. What's the feel of it? Marcy is definitely a girl mountain. Woman mountain. It's so vast and beautiful and higher, held higher. It's just, the Lady Mountains. And then there's the Boy Mountains. Like, what's a Boy Mountain? Fucking cliff. It makes you think it's not going to be a big deal. It makes you think you're ready for it, and it ain't even a thing. It makes you think you should pay attention to it, like a boy. Like, oh, come on, why don't you come over here. And then you get like so deep in, and the mountain's like, fuck you. I'm gonna take away all the trees. So here's this bare rock face. Okay, nope, back it up. So there are things known as slides on mountains. I mean, they're all over the place. I'd say a majority of the Adirondack 46 mountains you'll encounter at least a slide or something else that I deem to be kind of scary, like a ladder, a cable, a suspension bridge, just stuff like that. I'm scared a lot. But it's just like those little moments where I don't say it out loud. I also don't need to. Christina always knows when I'm scared. Slides. But usually it might be like bare rock face for a while and you have to figure out how to climb up it. Maybe there's like a crease and you have like finger holds or little footholds. A lot of times the mountains are like carved into steps. It's phenomenal. Or sometimes you go over to the side and then you grab onto like there's roots wherever the next part of like, you know, the woods, the vegetation would be. And we go up a couple of those. They make me a little nervous, but again, depending on how it's set up. Like, do I have to put a lot of fun into it or can I just like boop, boop, boop? Fine. And then we see this guy coming down and I was like, boy, he looks familiar. Didn't we see him in the beginning of the day? And so he just, hello. And it hit me. I was like, yeah, did we see you earlier in the day? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, weren't you with somebody? And he's like, yeah, my buddy's going up there. I was like, oh, did you not? He's like, no. I turned around. I was like, why? He said, I'm afraid of heights. And I was like, oh, God. I was like, oh, okay, well, we're going to go up. Do you want to come with us? Just thinking like, sometimes if you just invite people to do things, they might do it. And, you know, I feel like that's what... like the attitude of a 46er is not just to do them, check it off, and never to go back, which you probably have heard me say, and I will definitely say again, like, I'm never doing this again, and then I do it again. But it's to be a steward of the mountain. So, hey, like you're leaving with not a great experience, and you're probably going to avoid that. Because you're going to have to now walk 10 fucking miles back to your car and you didn't even get to get up there. He's like, no, I'm good. I said, okay, great. So he goes on his way and we go up and now it's in my head. And I'm thinking, stop it, calendar. And I'm thinking, well, what was so bad that made him turn around? So we do another slide. And it's like, a little bit challenging, but I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe he's like super afraid of heights. Trying to think, maybe it's not going to be that bad. Oh, it's bad. We see it, we get to it. It's this wide. I don't know how wide. I'm really bad at measurement, but you just have to go up a rock slide that's very steep. And the way you do it is there's like one crease up to a point. Some good finger holds, literally finger holds, not hand holds, foot holds, finger holds. And then a weird rock out here on a shelf. It is like burned into my mind. And then way the fuck over everywhere is where the trees are. So just as we reach the base of this slide of horror, homeboy's friend, he's coming down now. So I'm thinking, well, we obviously got to be like close to the top anyway. So we said, oh, hey, how's it going? We saw your friend. He's like, yep. And I see him like calculating. He's like, oh. I said, is this the one that made him quit? And he said, yes. And I was like, oh, fuck. He's like, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to get down now. And he's like, oh, I might just cheat and go over and bushwhack. He said that. And I was like, no, there's no way there's anything over there. But he figured it out and he came down. And he was like, you just got to do this. And he gave us specific instructions. And Christina looked at me and she's like, do you want me to go first? And I was like, yeah, why don't you go first? I don't fucking do this at all. But she's also, it's good that she asks, and I think she knows better to ask, because sometimes when I'm afraid of something, I need to just go do it and get it over with rather than sitting and having to think about it more. But that's for a certain level of scared, like, 0 to 7. If I'm on that scale, just go fucking do it. If I'm like 10 out of 10 scared, I need somebody else to do it first and show me that it can be done. Even though the guy, but I couldn't see him. But I don't know his like level of, ow. Anyhow, so she gets up there and I watch her. And she gets to the top and she sits down and she like looks at me and it's like this face that she makes. And then she immediately looked at her watch and I was like, fuck. She looked at her watch, I know, because she was checking her heart rate because she was super fucking scared. And when you're scared, your heart rate gets jacked up all the time. That's one of those coolest things about the Apple Watch is when you're recording an activity, your heart rate is displayed all the time. So you can see what your heart rate is. So it's helpful for me to see, like, when I'm like really struggling, I'm like, ooh, am I working that hard? But I'll look down and be like 125. That's when I'll look. My heart rate is very low, which is great because it just means my heart is very efficient and I take pride in that. But then I also feel like, well, why is it so hard to get my heart rate up? Why do I hate it so much? Anyway, she gets up there. She looks at her watch. She's checking her heart rate. She's like, come on. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I was like, but let me just... So I climb like, I don't know, halfway up or something. Maybe less than halfway. I'm not sure. Couldn't tell because I was at the bottom. And I'm like holding onto the rock. Just with my whole body, my arms and my legs, and then my feet are in these teeny little spots, and I'm gonna have to give up one of my 4 things touching the rock to try to turn and go up. And you're wearing a backpack. I'm wearing a backpack, which throws off my body weight. And my hiking shoes are actually trail runners, but they're really, really thick. They're the Hoka's. And I like them because they're squishy and they're really comfortable, but I can't feel the ground, which is why they're comfortable. So I can't feel like little tiny cracks, which makes me feel unstable. Cause I'm a little, I mean, I can't tell you how often I sing that song, especially this weekend because we went over a lot of like water crossings and mud things and just like fucking falling all over the place, just unsteady. So I'm halfway up there and I'm like, I can't do it. My right arm is in front of me and I look up at her and I just start crying. And then I, like this, meanwhile, Tom's the guy. I hope he sees this someday. He won't. I don't know though. He's at the base of this slide of horror and he's like trying to tell me what to do. And I'm like, I don't know. I just live here now. I live here now. I was like, I can't do this. I can't. I just put my head on my arm and I'm just like sobbing into my arm because now it was like that one thing, that one piece of rock. So that was our number 39. 39 mountains, 4,000 feet or above, except for a couple of them. But some of them are above 5,000 feet. So like it all, believe me, washes out. Comes out in the wash? Yes. This big, huge weekend, for us, it was a big deal. And this last little bit, I'm gonna fucking quit. But it's not like a quit where I'm like, I give up, I can't run anymore. No, I would never quit like that. What are you gonna do, sit down in the woods? But the fear gripped me and I could not do it. So Tom talks me back down with him. She's up there. I'm like, go, you gonna get, girl, go fucking up that mountain. And she's like, are you sure? And I was like, get up there. And she asked him a question like, how long is it gonna take or whatever. She's like, are you sure? I said, just fucking go. She said, okay. And I said, I'll be right here. And she yelled back, well, if you change your mind, then please do come up or something like that. I was like, all right. So then I'm like, sitting here. I fucked it up. My fear fucked it up. This thing that we have done together, side by side, since September, the number of hours that we've driven, the small number of hours that we've slept, the sleep deprivation, the exhaustion on Mondays, the time we're missing with our family, the arrangements we make for our children and my dog, the arrangements she makes to get people to cover her when she's on call. She's a doctor, so she's like on a rotation. It's just like telephone call. But anyway, we don't have reliable service. You don't know. So she had to get her on-call covered. It's like, it's a big fucking effort just to get there, just to have the time to get to the place where you even start the physically challenging part. That's why it's been so transformational. It's not just like going out into the backyard. I don't know, like the amount of victory that I feel about climbing the Adirondack Mountains far surpasses doing well in any kind of race, because like the race is right here. I can just right here run outside and train for it, and then you go to wherever the race is and you do how you do. This is so much more time, effort, but like she's talking about return on investment. Your return on your investment is enormous. And especially being able to say that I did it with someone. To have that shared experience. Not a trauma bond, but a shared trauma that creates a bond. That we wouldn't have had otherwise, because we've like been in the shit together. We've seen each other at our, I'm not going to say worst, but probably most vulnerable. We're both very, very physical people. And we use our bodies to make ourselves feel secure. And when the body starts to give out, we don't know what the fuck to do. I mean, like, it's not like we don't know what to do, but it's just, what do you mean my body doesn't work? All right, 10%, we gotta go soon. So, yeah, she goes up. I'm explaining to him that we've done all these mountains together. We're supposed to do another hike next weekend, and one the week after that, and then be done with this first round of 46. Our friend Sarah's gonna come. Here's her patches, and celebrate this monumental thing that we achieved together. And now it's all fucked up. I was like, I'm just gonna see what's over here. The slide in front of us was the most obvious path. And at the time I thought the only way to get up the mountain is to go like this, right here. That's where he came from. That's where she had to go. This is the only context that I have. And I'm thinking, all these other people have done this. All these other people have done this. Children have done this. Dogs have done this. Mothers with babies strapped to their back have done this, which there's no fucking way I would not, A, want to carry a kid, and then B, like, have to take care of anyone else but myself, because it's that hard. And sometimes I think it's that hard because I'm not. Because lately I have been in resistance to the mountains, because I find them so challenging. And the more challenging I find them, the more challenging I make them in my mind. And that translates to my body, because, if we decide that we're going to have a certain experience, we will do everything in our power to prove that we are right. I told you this is hard. So anyway, I see just this one path. This is the way to go. And if you don't go up there, then you don't get to go. But then I just saw, I'm pretty good. I've gotten pretty good at navigating and just intuitively knowing. But of course, like, you verify when you come to like a junction or something like that, or something feels off, I immediately look. I know what the trail is supposed to look like, even if I've never been there. Just from staring at it for so many miles. So I see a place where there's like a little bit of repeated footsteps, It wasn't just like one time somebody walked over here. It's like a little tiny, like this fucking big, over to the left. I'm like, I'm just gonna go over there and see how far I can get and see maybe what's up there. So I go over and like, oh, look at that. There's some wear on these branches overhead. So I pull myself up. Long story short. Oh no, long story, maybe a little bit shorter. I climb up and I get to the top. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know where this spit me out. Am I on the trail or am I just in the woods? Let me look. And I'm like, no, this looks good. This looks like this is the trail. Like I wasn't even off of it. And I'm thinking, well, is she off the trail? I don't know. So I'm following it and I'm yelling, Christina! Christina! It was maybe, I have no idea. It could have been 60 seconds or it could have been 3 to 5 minutes. But I was yelling her name as I was going forward on the trail. And I was like, okay, all I can think to do is run to the summit so that by the time she gets there, I'm there. And then we won't get separated because as far as she knows, I'm at the bottom of that cliff. So maybe she's going super fast trying to get up there and get back down. Then she's going to get back down. I'm not going to be there. So I'm running. Christina! 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 And then I hear it. Oh my God, did you do it? And it's her. And I just yell, no, but I got up here. So I come out of the woods. She's right there. She's coming at me. And so her face was just like shocked. She was fucking shocked. And, you know, we're like, and then she like went to check the map and I was like, stop it. And I turned her towards me and I just looked at her and we hugged and it was like, I was so sweaty and disgusting. She was like sweaty for her. She doesn't really sweat. She's like a goddamn Glinda the Good Witch or something. Yeah, you are. Glinda the Good Witch. Anyway, and we're just like crying and oh God, it was so good. And also so dramatic, but we were primed for drama. You know, very little sleep, 2 nights in a row, lots of miles, 2 days in a row. You know, food is off. Your fuel is always kind of weird out there. Yeah, so anyway, we got to the top. Because the path that is the most obvious path is not always the only way to go. And when I commit to doing something, especially if I commit to doing something with someone else, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. I don't quit because I'm tired. I only quit if I'm scared. Oh, that's good. And not just mountains, I quit things. I quit people. When I'm scared that they're going to quit me, I'm like, fuck you. I've talked about this a lot and I will continue to talk about it because that is the season of my life that I am in. A cycle, perhaps. A couple years ago, this type of shedding happened and it was shitty. But you gotta do it, you know? All right, this is not what I talked about at all. Oh, well, then I can bring that in. So what I have written down is reframing failure. So there I was on the side of a mountain, telling, you know, before I climbed the side, just thinking like, I failed and I'm not going to complete the thing that I said I was going to complete. I can't do it. I have failed. And then I immediately turned it into, oh my God, does that take 28 minutes? I have to go. That immediately turned into, well, this is stupid. I'm going to have to do a part 2. Reframing failure, part 2. Good night.